Hello everyone, it is Leela.
And Bo.
And welcome back to our channel.
Leela.
Yes.
Leela.
Yes.
Leela.
Yes.
How are you doing in this trying time?
I'm putting on a happy face.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
We'll get to it. We'll get to it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
For today's episode, we're going to be recapping and
we're doing that today? I forgot we're doing that today.
Episode 4 of Boys to Planet. This is the second episode of C Group. And last, second and final.
This is the final episode of the season. After this, they're awarding the winners.
C Group is no more.
C Group is no more.
Yeah, so today we're
decimated. The word for today, kids, is decimated. First, we do have some... go ahead and you go over the... And then we'll...
So today, I know if you're listening to this, you know how we feel. We're all in this boat together. So today we're going to talk about the rest of the auditions. Only a few of them were shown. There were a lot that weren't shown. I went and watched some of them, but none of it really, stood out to me really strongly enough to want to discuss it. So we'll just talk about the few that were shown. We'll talk about the signal song practice for C Group and their reevaluations, and briefly touch on the absolutely massive amount of eliminations that took place before any of us had really seen any of these performers.
The great calling.
The absolutely absurd calling. And then we'll go over our top 8 as it stands right now for C Group.
Right, so 2 points of housekeeping. Forgive me especially for forgetting or not knowing names. And then on top of that, once I learned the name, mispronouncing it for about 6 months. I am a dummy, so forgive me. Feel free to correct me in the comments. Secondly, we won't be covering every single performance because there's literally too many. If we did that, this would literally be a podcast longer than the episode.
And so if I don't have strong feelings or don't really have anything to say, I'd rather not just talk about it for the sake of talking about it, if that makes sense. So I really want to talk about the ones I have more feelings about. And frankly, at this point, the ones that are still going to hang around on the show, because my goodness, C Group was rocked.
Yes, once you know, I would still recommend, even if they're eliminated, I would still recommend if you haven't going and watching their performances, because you will find people like the Spot Kid. Mm-hmm. And again, I'm going to use nicknames. I know, but I'm saying I didn't see him first, so a Spot Kid. You'll discover people that later you might want to vote. So it's always, and it's fun. There's a lot of really good performances. A lot of really bad ones, but you're going to have to watch those as well. Very well, sir. Very good, sir.
Very good.
On this solemn day.
Good, sir. Oh, my goodness.
Yay, on this day.
So we started out this episode with the Boys Planet team, which are returning members. These were all 3 contestants on the original Boys Planet. We remember. Hi, Christian. Good to have you back. And so they made a team together and performed... Oops, I didn't update the text. Sorry, Chick Chick Boom, by Stray Kids. And they really focused their story on, it was Juan?
Yes.
Hao?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Juan Hao?
Yeah.
Who was the oldest member of this team here.
He's the one on the left, right?
Yeah. He's not quite 30 years old.
Oh, right, yeah. They said that.
They spent the whole time talking to him about why do you still want to do this, basically? And
You didn't hear what he said? He said, why are you still judging competitions?
Right. So they kind of spent the storyline time of this team of oh, look at these, they're people we already know, they're coming back. Why do you still want to do this? You're kind of old. And then they have them perform, and then they just kind of feel like they didn't do that well, and kind of nitpicked on them a little bit, I felt. A little bit?
I thought they were, and they did get 1 stars, but I think it was kind of set up. Not set up, but it's very subtle how they do this stuff, but I just don't think there was a good story coming for these 3 anyway. But they didn't perform very well. I do agree with the 1 and 2 stars, mostly even 1 for everybody. But I don't care, because as long as you survive, you can come back and do better later. Christian, notoriously, I believe, in the first Boys Planet was kind of evil edited and treated, I thought, pretty poorly. Kind of like they did a Helicopter We Go Up contestant. It just felt kind of yucky. And so to see him again come back, and it's cool, here comes Christian. And then he was... Now, granted, he did not perform well, but he just wasn't given a lot of... good screen time and stuff. It just felt a little bit off to me, but Good on them. I like Christian a lot, though, and he's very popular on Instagram.
He has like 2 million followers.
Yeah,
I had
I'm not
no
worried
idea.
about him.
Someone that had mentioned it, and I went and looked and was like, oh my god.
I think he should be an actor, too. He'd be a great actor.
And then we have another returning contestant, Dong Honghai from Boys Planet originally, remember?
Yes.
I believe, please correct me if I'm misremembering, that he's from Vietnam.
Yes, and he's the one who said the
Yabba-da.
the yabba-da about the actor kid. Again, I
Yabba-da.
can't remember his name from ZB1.
Yabba-da.
He was like, yabba-da. And they
So
went
that's
like
how
viral, and I was
we
like, oh, I
remember
love
him.
this kid, man.
He did really well.
He did.
They spent a lot of time on his like backstory and talking about him, that like since Boys Planet, he's just been training for 2 years, and he basically said waiting for another opportunity to do this.
Yeah.
Which
he threw the confetti, the
Yes.
sparkle, like the stars.
Yes.
And you know what's funny is he kind of had that switch thing too, where he switched on, and because he is much more like happy and bubbly, and he did a little bit of the switch, and I thought that's really cool, because in the first Boys Planet they almost kind of used him as like a meme character in a way, like he would say these funny things, kind of like they did with. We really wanted him to begin. He went far, really, really funny.
I don't know, dear.
Anyway, if I said it, you'd be like. Anyway, he was similar to one where he's real bubbly and stuff, and they kind of used him as. Remember the one he danced to the Twice song? He loved Twice a lot.
I don't remember, dear.
I'll think of it. Somebody in the comments help. But anyway, it was nice to see he came back with he looks cool. He has a really good style, but also during his performance he didn't just try and do like he did some of that brightness, with the confetti.
He
and
made
stuff.
it his own.
Yes, and then he walks off and didn't sweep up after himself. And what's funny is I have some problem with the judges. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit, of course. But I do think the main singer judge, I'm forgetting his name, the one who does not wear glasses, the other one?
One star?
Well, both of them.
One star is the one who makes the
meme.
faces.
Yeah. He actually jokes around with them a lot.
notes.
Like, if you don't find your card in 5 minutes, you're going home. He asked him as he's walking out, are you going to sweep up that confetti? I love when he does that, because it's really a nice little thing he's doing. He's loosening them up a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't be so nervous. Have a little fun time. And I think he's actually sometimes really sweet, and sometimes a little mean, but mostly really sweet.
One star isn't mean. I don't think one star is mean.
I think he could, of all people to be mean, he could be the meanest, because with singing you have to project, and someone just don't project. That would make you so mad. Just blurt it out, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But he did great. I'm so happy he got 3 stars, because I think he deserves it.
Deserved. And then we finally come back to where we left off last time, which was the 3 members of Boy Story coming to perform Backdoor by Stray Kids.
Great song, by the way.
And they spend a lot of time, like both last episode and this episode, just like talking about Boy Story and like kind of asking like, why would you be here? Which is kind of a weird question. Did you ask that of all the other idols?
Well, we shall talk.
But like, kind of like, why would you be here or whatever? Because the vibes I was getting based off the commentary in the room, not that I don't know, is that Boy Story was like very popular in China.
Okay, Your Honor.
Yes.
If I may, I have some evidence to present to the jury. You'll have to forgive me for this uninterrupted 24 minutes of ranting I'm going to do. Not really, I'm joking. I will rant about our cat getting on our printer while we record, though. But they come out, they tell their story and stuff like that. It's a fantastic story. I would first like to present a little evidence, if I can, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Your permission?
Yes.
I'm sorry to do this to you. I know you're at this trying time here. So, let me pull up my evidence real quick. Okay. Here we go.
Anyway,
No,
are
okay.
you hurrying up, please?
Yes,
sir?
yes. I do have a lot to say about this, but I want to establish really quick. These are just 3 small excerpts from their Wikipedia page.
Boy Stories?
Boy Stories.
Oh, okay.
Boy Story. I'm sorry, Boy Story.
I didn't know that you did research.
I did a lot of research.
Oh, good for
this,
you.
This irked me in so many ways. And and again, I only want to get this out of the way so we can go back to the happy stuff. Okay.
There's no happy stuff.
I know. These are just some experts. On January 6, 2020, Boy Story released, this is 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Released their second extended play as the prologue, blah, blah, blah. The members were involved in writing the lyrics and composing the music for the album. It's 5 years ago, so they were still teens. Boys and teens. On May 6th, the group held their first online concert in China titled Stage on Air in collaboration with the short video mobile platform Tencent Weish. Again, I'm not sure what those are. I know Tencent, but So, with the theme, The Confession of Birth, the concert recorded over 810,000 concurrent viewers. 810,000 concurrent viewers.
It's crazy.
On July 4th, I don't know the year, I'm sorry. I think it's 20 as well, not 21. Boy Story held the second date of their stage on-air online concert, amassing over 3,380,000 viewers in real time.
What?
This
Really?
this number is 320% increase compared to the number of audience recorded for the group's last online concert in earlier of that year. That is 3 small excerpts from the Wikipedia page. On top of that, I just did a cursory, I'm not a mathematician, I didn't write it all down. I want to say 500,000 to 600,000 sales of their albums.
Okay.
That's fantastic. This is coming from a group that was formed when the youngest was, 9?
Yeah, they
and
were
the
little.
oldest was 16 or something like that. I believe Hanyu on the far left is the subject of this case, Your Honor.
Okay.
I believe he's the leader, rapper and leader.
Okay.
So they get up there to do their performance, and they do their performance, right? This is Friday, July 25th, 2025, just so you know. At least that was the... All right. So during the performance, according to 2 of the members of the panel, of the judgment panel of the 2 of the masters, they met Hanyu, the leader of Boy Story, a very popular group of boys and young men from China, made a quote-unquote mistake. It is our opinion that a mistake wasn't made, an accident happened. There's a difference.
Correct.
Now, they pulled out, they said, Your Honor, please, they said, you made a mistake. Fine, he made a mistake. But then they added in that it was due to him being, I think, quote-unquote, heavier. He needed to be, quote-unquote, slimmer. Something like that. The translation could be off, so somebody correct me. All right? Now, all I do... Your Honor, I just trust that you trust your eyes and your ears and ask yourself, does he look just heavier than anybody there? No.
No.
Right?
No.
Also, I want you to go back and remember a group of 4 Taekwondo boys performing.
Yes.
From the K group?
Correct. No, C group.
C group, sorry. One of them makes a great mistake. I would say even worse of a mistake than this guy did.
Yeah.
He falls down. Not only that, but he had more training in doing flips in there, and he makes the mistake. Yet the judges never brought up weight or anything at all.
Correct.
I would have you remember back.
I don't think they would say that to him.
I would have you remember back to the K group, I believe, blue and black shirt guy with Li Leo.
Okay.
His shoe literally flies off his feet. Something that, in my opinion, and I think we could prove, Your Honor,
is an accident.
But is a worse accident. It looks less professional than somebody who is tripping up a little bit after being literally flipped through the air.
Correct.
No discussion of his weight. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, our third point about this is at no point did either of the judges suggest, they went ahead and suggested that he was heavier and was harder to throw, when they could have suggested maybe these 2 needed to gain a little muscle. Maybe that was the problem, right? So it didn't make sense to us. What are they trying to say here? What are they trying to do?
I don't know.
Right? They have over 400,000 sales. They have what I read to you from the wiki. They have already established themselves, including him, as acceptable in whatever current quote-unquote beauty standards of the day exist.
Yeah.
The words beauty and standard don't go together. Beauty is subjective, is in the eye of the beholder. Standard is a unit of measurement. It is scientific.
Yes.
Not only that, but you can prove it that those 2 words don't go together because over history, beauty standards have changed.
Yes.
Even in K-pop, the standards of beauty have changed.
Yeah.
Even the panel of judges, within the panel of judges, there are different skin tones, sizes, heights.
Yes.
That all, some could argue, do not fit in the current beauty standard of K-pop or K-pop idols. Okay? So, and I'm getting to my point.
Okay.
So,
counsel, are you going to make your point?
Yes. My point here is that I could not figure out why they decided to bring this up. Now, I saw in some of the comments of under this performance and some of the other stuff that, you see this mentioned in Reddits and stuff like that, subreddits, that I believe they were under SM, I believe, or JYP.
JYP. Boy Story.
And everybody knows how JYP is.
JYP is obsessed with weight.
Your Honor, please.
Okay.
I'll give you your chance. JYP has a history of this kind of thing. We all know this to the point that me and Leela had to stop watching.
I can't watch anything with his face on it.
Ma'am, Your Honor, please. We had to stop watching, I think it was called Nizzy Project, Because in front of him stood, I think she was 14, 15, 16, lovely young girl. She did her performance and dance. He smiled and then proceeded to talk about her weight and her heaviness.
Yeah.
This young girl.
Yeah.
Now, it is our contention, or I would like to prove the point, that she was not large.
No.
He thought she was large because the previous girl was thinner.
Yeah.
There is not, that also proves there is not a standard. It is subjective.
Yeah.
So the only thing that we can come up with, the only thing I could think, was that they picked out this guy and somebody suggested it, and I think there is some truth here. The two idols knew, or at least the main master, I'm sorry, I'm forgetting his name, handsome guy.
Jae-jun is the one that...
The dance master.
No, the vocal master who, as he was walking away, said, "Why don't you go lose some weight?"
Yes, okay.
In a joking tone, but it was said.
So, it is our thought that perhaps somebody suggested this, that because they came from JYP, they were kind of used to or needed this kind of talk.
Oh, please.
Like, this is what they're used to.
Not correct.
Exactly.
Leave him alone.
So, the only thing we can think of is in their mind, and I want, and not that he's listening to this, but I want people to understand, this guy, the leader, has cute chipmunk cheeks, a round face. He's adorable.
Yeah.
Some would say handsome, whatever, but at least adorable, right? Mm-hmm. He doesn't need to change a thing. He doesn't need to listen to what he's saying.
Yeah.
And they said this because he was the one who made the mistake. I have a feeling if one of the other ones had an accident like him, they would have picked on something like that. I don't know. But because of his chubby cheeks, maybe they thought, go thin your cheeks out somehow.
Good grief.
And this drove me so mad that I think we have proven our case that this was A, mean. Yeah. This was B, not necessary, unnecessary, completely unnecessary. Not only that, but as he was leaving,
and showed a double standard because other people made different
quadruple
mistakes
standards
that had a slightly different appearance and did not get these sorts of
quadruple
comments.
standard, if that even makes sense. Not only irresponsible, but also, not only not necessary, but also irresponsible, because now, thanks to this show and thanks to this moment, his Instagram comments will mention it. Maybe he'll be thinking about it for the next week to 2 years to 10 years. I don't know. And this is...
I'm sure it's not the first time in his life he's heard it. You know how these people
exactly.
are.
And so the only thing I could think of was A, he has a round, adorable face.
Yeah.
They decided to pick on that, while his other two group mates are a bit more older, cut chin and stuff like that. And B, especially from the headmaster who teaches singing, for I have suffered myself, son, so now you can suffer like I did.
Yeah.
This will be good for you. Yeah. And it was one of the only moments in the show where I was reminded of, don't do that. That's not the part of K-pop I like. So
it's like a thing in K-pop, and this is a sidebar, everyone. I'm sorry, but I've been a K-pop fan now for since 2018 or so, and when you first get into it, you're like, my gosh, they really are like hung up about and weird about weight, like really weird, and then you kind of get used to it because you've been a fan of it for so long, and then in the last couple of years, I'm still a K-pop fan, but I'm not in as like deep in watching like extraneous K-pop content, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. Like in the last 2 years since Boys Planet, we haven't really watched any shows or any like variety content or anything. I've just been listening to music and leaving it at that. Kind of taking a step back from it. Like I think that was a good thing for me to take a step back from it, because the weight talk and the normalization of like this extreme standard of air quote beauty or whatever it is like so toxic. So it's like, I love K-pop. I want to be a fan. This is so fun. Mm-hmm. But these little things creep in and remind you of the toxicity that comes with some of the industry, and it's just not fun.
We also have to remember that a few years ago, many thanks to BTS, the Love Yourself was a theme that was running through all sorts of groups.
Yeah.
That it was talk of self-esteem and being good for yourself, and then yet this stuff still happens. Now again, I'm not singling this out as something that only happens in K-pop. That would be ridiculous. I'm just saying, because it came up here and people are discussing it right now and are discussing it, we'll probably discuss it in our comments or whatever. They kicked ass.
Yeah.
This group has been here's the thing. This group has been doing this since they were literally children. And if I'm not mistaken, and he is the leader, and I believe so, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, he, as the older male in the group, had to go to management when there was an issue.
Yeah.
The 9-year-old was crying and missed his mom. He had to,
Yeah.
they were homesick. He
I
had
don't
to
even
take...
want to think about the crap they've been through. But
Having said that, there are actors and stuff that start at a young age, and it can be done and can be done responsibly. But I just have a feeling that they have, like you said, they have heard this before. He did not need to hear it as on the way out the door.
No,
especially
and especially on the way out the door, about to get eliminated. I think if I'm not wrong, please correct me. The only member of Boy Story who made it past the cut was the one in the center with the slightly red hair, Shenlong, who for me was my takeaway, my favorite of this performance.
They gave him a lot of time,
and
too.
Also one of my just favorites overall after this episode and everything.
He's got a maturity that's very nice.
He really has like a serious maturity for being as young as he is, and he's really good. And I liked him a lot.
Right. I just think there's such a good story here to tell about 3 members of a team they started when they were kids. They went through a lot, including puberty. Like that as anybody who went through that as a kid, knowing how important it was to have friends during those hormonal times when you're crying or you're upset or you're angry or whatever. So I just thought it was a really irresponsible thing to say, because that will maybe not, but could possibly haunt him for the rest of his life. And I think that's really, really ridiculous to do. Having said that, I thought they did fantastic. I'm sure you did too, right? I thought that the flipping needs to stop because somebody's going to get hurt, but it was an accident, it was a mistake, and he does not need to change anything about himself. Just keep being a badass. Correct. So there you go.
Thank you.
I hope I proved my case. Oh, and by the way, we're recommending a punishment that the dance master and the head singing master stand in front of their peers while everybody roasts their body. Let's talk about it. Give us 20 years. And we're going to talk about your dad bod and your graying hair. No. Because here's another universal truth. Everybody's body changes at some point in life. So those guys can.
Thank you.
Let's just say this. I unrolled a little list in my head. I pulled out a little quill in my head, and right next on the same line that JYP is written, I wrote down those 2 guys' name. I rolled it back up, and I said, "Well, when they're on the screen, I'm going to have to change the channel."
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Anyway, there you go. Have a good day, everybody.
Okay. Aside from that, the rest of the episode, again, they only showed 3 performances. There were a lot more than weren't shown. They are on YouTube. If you want to watch them, I think you should. Was about the Signal song. Same as last time, split into groups, room size based on your all-star rating, etc., etc.
Stanford
your training
Prison
group.
Experiment.
Stanford Prison Experiment.
They didn't get a dog, did they?
They didn't get the dog. They didn't get an emotional support dog, but they did have Limjack.
Dude, what are we going to do about Limjack?
I don't know.
What are we going to do with Limjack? And guess what, though? Him and Lion are both free agents now.
They are.
Team up, do YouTube videos.
So, the storyline of this episode and the Signal song training and of the different star rankings practice and then being evaluated, they spent a lot of time on it, and just a lot of time showing a lot of them struggling. It was just a lot of struggling trainees.
Yeah, on one hand, don't you kind of enjoy it because then they get to do better, and like some of them, and by the way, including Sexy Guy.
Yeah, this is not organized. Please be patient. Thank you.
They should know by now what to expect.
I appreciate you listening.
Appreciate you.
We're going to go through different, just randomly different people.
Sure.
So, talking about Sexy, I don't have a picture of him here, and he didn't...
it's too sexy for our computer.
Do his audition, so... But anyway, he is an enigma to me. And I said that last time, that he's very difficult for me to understand. Usually I can get a person and I'm like, I get you. I get your deal. I get your vibe. I get what's going on. He is absolutely an enigma to me. He keeps introducing himself. Whatever, my MBTI is SEXY. I'm, sexy, this, that, and the other.
I like how they blurred his face on that.
He says it with deadpan, dead ass, straight face. It's a bit, but it's not a joke. It's like he's dead ass serious.
I think,
and that's fine. And I think it's fun to have a thing. And I don't know if he's trying to make a moment for television and make a meme like the way Ricky did. He clearly looks up to Ricky and what Ricky was able to accomplish.
That's kind of a big thing for Ricky.
But Ricky didn't say it over and over and over. He said it twice.
Ricky dropped it, yeah. Which was smart.
but he's sort of like saying it over and over and over. And then whenever he's in practice, he's a very tough one to read. Like I said, he like didn't want to practice with everyone else. He said, I don't feel comfortable practicing with others. I want to practice alone. So he would go into the hallway and practice alone, which
is a no-no.
No.
It's a big no-no.
And whenever they were learning it, some of the things like he didn't like learn the move exactly. He just kind of like, well, I think it should be like this, and did it differently. And then when you go off and practice alone, you're learning it wrong, essentially, because you just kind of like, you need other people there to check you and like teach you. He wasn't like wanting to be taught by anyone. He kind of is like, I just want to figure this out on my own alone. And for the dancing, I don't think that like worked out super well in his favor. And on the singing, he like was like doing okay, but like having a little bit of a struggle. And they're like, you need to relax. And he's like, can I lay down? And so he lays down and sings, and it's like, that's not good posture anyway, to like lay down and sing. You're not going to sound better.
I think he was kind of like, if I go into kind of character mode, I'm more relaxed.
So are you memeing or not? I cannot tell.
I think it's just
Are you serious or not? I can't tell.
I think it might just be
and he looked really upset.
Kind of a coping technique.
He looked like he was really like having a hard time. Like the reality come crashing in that like, yeah, you have some room for improvement. That's okay.
But also you could go home.
You know what I mean?
At some point.
That like his self-confidence isn't as high as he wants to portray it as, which is also okay. As RuPaul says.
Yeah, well,
showing us your vulnerability is how we get to know you and how we love you. So don't be afraid to do that. You know what I mean? He's an enigma to me.
I think
but he survived the
I think it's all a coping
elimination.
technique. A lot of times if somebody's, this is somebody who in public is pretty shy and stuff. Yes. Well, as I am me, so I take up all the air in the room. But I think it might be a coping technique to where he is literally using this, I'd rather be alone, as an excuse to not have to be with others or be asked to perform or something. Mm-hmm. He's not Limjack. Yeah. He's not. You could go, hey Limjack, could you stand on your head and be like, yeah, whatever, sure, Yeah. This is not what he does.
One additional sidebar related to that. We talked about the Taekwondo team, and we talked about them last time. I liked their performance. The main guy they were talking to, who was an actor, he was so cute.
He was awesome, yeah.
But we were like, he left the show and we don't know the situation of that. They showed it in this time. He and one of the other members of the Taekwondo team.
Right, yeah.
Like, midway through practicing for the signal song and stuff, were like, this is too hard, I quit. Which is crazy to me. He is an athlete at the top levels of his sport. And he found this signal song and the criticisms he received from his dancing and singing to be too difficult to continue. That is wild.
There's a guy who filmed with Jackie Chan, who, by the way, Jackie Chan's not doing his stunts anymore, but who it was known as somebody that you did not hold back.
That feels wild to me.
You have to.
How is this harder than that?
Because you have to understand. I mean, I'm not saying you don't.
It's the criticism, not the work.
Whatever it is.
The work. There's no way that this dance is harder than doing
Taekwondo. No, but whatever it is,
no way.
He doesn't want to face it, and he has something else going on as well. I do believe that. Mm-hmm. He obviously wasn't slumming for a. So So he's a busy. I do believe he was a busy guy, if not with movies, just with training and stuff. And
I think he didn't want the criticism.
I also think that when it gets down to it, and you have 6 billion young men hanging out in an apartment, they're going to talk a lot, and it went around being like, you guys know if you get into this.
No,
this is going to be.
I think you're giving him too much credit. I think it was just a little bit of a bruised ego, like coming in and being told, like being criticized, and like that it was like he's like, no, thank you. But the reason that story is interesting because 2 of the members left. One of them stayed. The youngest member, he has kind of reddish hair. I don't remember his name off the top of my head, but I'll talk to you about his name later. And he decided to stick it out. He stuck it out. Yeah. He kept trying. He did well.
Did very well. Yeah.
And so I was like, props to you.
His signal song was really good.
Because
his vocal.
His teammates just gave up. So like props to that kid. Now we can talk about Limjack. Okay, listen. Listen. Learning slightly slower than other people does not mean you aren't good.
Especially when you couple that with only being an idol or a trainee for like 2 days.
I didn't realize that, he has not been a trainee for very long.
Not at all, no.
Which is, okay, that's fair. And he, in practice, on the vocal practice, was like having trouble with the Chinese lyrics because that is not his first language. Not
and
maybe not even his second. It's probably his third.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But wouldn't Korean or Japanese and Chinese have some similarities? Maybe with
not necessarily
with
to
certain
Mandarin
sounds
or
to a.
It is so
Because
difficult.
English is crazy, and also an Australian accent.
Like
I don't know. I mean,
so, like, and that he admits that I'm having a hard time memorizing the words because the lyrics are in Chinese and he's not necessarily fluent in it, I guess, or whatever. And like admitting that in front of the judge, who was like the trainer was like.
At that moment, I liked what the trainer was doing.
He said, "Well, do you think if it was all in English, you would be doing better?" And he said yes in his delightful tone, and that was probably the incorrect answer because the singing wasn't like 100% there either way.
The only reason I think that was
know.
was okay on the trainer's part, which by the way, I don't hate this trainer or whatever. I just think he needs to be a little less harsh sometimes. You've noticed his ad-libbing on the conversations, what's been getting him in trouble, because I read that
That was a different vocal trainer. It wasn't Jae Jong that gave him that critique. It was the other one.
No, he was one talking to Limjack. Said, do you have problems with your tone? Remember, you're tone deaf. And Limjack said, no. Wasn't that Limjack? And he says, okay, sing and he went, and he said, you're tone deaf. Wasn't that not Limjack? Remember?
I don't remember.
Oh man, two old people trying to remember stuff. Anyway, point being is whoever it was said, look, if you don't admit the problem, I believe this was Limjack, I can't help you. But I honestly do feel like Limjack was just having a problem with language barrier stuff. He had a kind of a confusion. And his adaptation is to be Limjack.
Well, he admitted it. He said, I can't memorize the lyrics. He's having a hard time memorizing the lyrics.
I have to say, though, I do think that is an excuse because there are people there memorizing all sorts of lyrics and stuff. I think you just have to phoneticize it and rhyme it out or something.
Don't know. People have different strengths. And
you are defensive of Limjack.
The quickness with which you learn something is not a measurement that your fans, once you're a debuted idol, know about or care.
Correct. But
so why is that
it comes into play.
Quickness with which you could learn this choreography and lyrics, like the only measure of success? If you would have given him more time, he would have done better.
But that's the problem.
But they didn't have the time. So fine.
You have to learn. If you have to run for
so
point
he did like okay, but not the greatest or whatever, and so he got knocked down to 1 star. And that combined, him going from all-star to 1 star, combined with, I guess they took the fan cam views as part of the voting for whatever this elimination round was, meant that he got eliminated, which is just like ridiculous. And I'm not the only one online who feels this way. They gave him all this screen time. He was so funny and so delightful. And then they just like...
But you take the number 1 guy right now. He's brooding, handsome, doesn't talk. Doesn't talk.
He doesn't talk.
The votes are going for that brooding.
I don't like that.
I'm not saying Limjack's not a good looking guy or whatever. I'm just saying that, you know what I mean? Yeah. He is a lot. He is a lot. Not everybody can handle a lot.
The other funny part is when they got to call their parents, Jack called his mom and was like, Mom, I can't learn the lyrics. I feel like I'm an idiot. And she was like, you are. It's like...
Kooky mom talk.
I was like, what are you doing?
I love moms.
And he was like,
that.
Mom. And then it like hung up on him, so it was like a funny moment. He's like, I feel like I'm an idiot.
And she repeated it. She said, you are. And then it hung up because it ran out of time. And I like his reaction. She's like, she hung up. They're like, yeah, you got 5 minutes, dummy. And he's like, I'm an idiot. It's like, okay, don't keep repeating that. Everybody's got to learn in their own way. I agree with that. But he just what? But
Lord
again,
have mercy.
There's no stopping him from coming back in the next one.
I know.
You know, or doing some other show.
He's got to debut. He's got to.
I think someone like him should go be a YouTuber and do music stuff, but also just be funny. And he's such a bright energy.
Yeah.
That it was kind of funny to see them joking about getting worn out. I think they meant but honestly, that's not a lot. I'm used to that from everybody.
Not a lot.
If you see an average kid these days, they run around like maniacs. But that's what kids do. Like it's just a cultural difference a bit to where you can really see with the Korean ones. They're so reverential and I'm so sorry I walked towards you. You know, it's just like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I admire that. But at the same time, there's nothing wrong with a kid who is just exuberant about life.
Yes.
So without him in this show, those first episodes would have been not only boring but just really a downer.
Boring.
Really a downer.
One other thing I wanted to mention with relation to the Signal song was that it had both a rap break with 3 rappers doing like a little like solo thing.
Yeah, yeah.
One was Bohang, who had performed with Limjack last week.
Good, yeah.
And one was the rapper from Boy Story. The third, I don't remember or recognize. I thought that was really interesting. They had to spend all this time showing us everyone failing at their dance. They couldn't show us what the selection process was for the rap breaks and the dance center, because they had 3 dance centers here. I don't know who this is because they didn't show it.
Isn't that crazy?
None of these 3, I can't recognize the other 2. The one with the silver hair, the only reason you could recognize him is because he has unique hair, silver hair, and he was their dance center.
He got a few moments of screen time.
What
sense does it make?
I really would have loved more time being given to like how they chose the center and these dance centers and all that, and not just all this time to look at all of the failures and here's over 50 of them going home. Like, it just felt like,
and I'm not
like,
joking.
You've just wasted my time.
I'm not joking, but it feels like an AI edit. They said, "Could you edit this for it?" And he's like, "Yes, here you go." And it like, do you know what I mean? Like, it makes no sense. Why would you not show someone as good as like the Spot Kid from the K group, but you would show 10 minutes of people doing horrible?
Yeah,
I understand that everybody, but that's not equal screen time as well. It's be smart. If you want to make a really good group, show the really good people. But there you go.
I don't know.
I don't know. Are we talking about the eliminations now or what? Because
we can talk about eliminations. Okay. So, yeah, it just, they went through over half of them got eliminated. It was like on to the last minute. They also just played us all. They played in my face, because they were like, "There's only one spot left. Is it going to be Sexy or Limjack?" And I'm like, "Great. Fabulous."
Well,
and it was Mr. Sexy.
So it wasn't us, right? They eliminated way more C group than K group, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
there was over 50 eliminated from this, and I think there was 17 K group eliminated. It was a decimation. They decimated C group.
But I don't even think they judged it the same way. Like, it was based on different. I don't know.
Is the reason?
Now I do see that the producers are like, holy hell. We've got
way
too many
people. They had too many people.
And what are we going to do? And blah, blah, blah. Where I don't know, understand. I mean, I understand why they get a lot of people, is then you get a lot of labels interested who share the content and da-da-da. And fans of all these different labels, sure. But you know what? Get it down to 60 people from the beginning, 40 people, and give us more time to really find out about these people. That's how I think you do a proper reality Survivor show. Survivor, the show, is 18 people or not. Come on.
They just made a big mess. Starting the show the way they started it, thinking there was going to be 2 groups, and then changing their mind midway through the first couple episodes. It just left us with a mess.
Right.
So these first 4 episodes, it's almost like we've got to almost pretend like it didn't happen, and then just like the show starts next week.
I do, exactly. And I said this, and I'm not kidding. I think it's kind of rage baity stuff. They are a TikToker who is cleaning their dirty house and wants you to watch all 13 minutes of that because you're so angry at that person, or whatever. Mm-hmm. I do believe there's something there to that. It just, to me, it doesn't really make sense. Why not show
just a mess?
Why are you eliminated? What
just a mess.
Without explaining it, because yes, they cannot defraud anybody more. They got in trouble for that stuff, so they have to be on the books with the votes. But literally everything else is open to whatever, the time, the editing, anything they want to do, they can do, and that's not illegal. It's only illegal to mess with the vote. So it
scares me. Let's talk about top 8. The thing about top 8 that I've been thinking that kind of worries me a tad is that we're going to have a situation that's worse than Girls Planet, where it's going to be 7 K group members and 1 C group member.
No, it was
maybe Anshin.
Oh, you're talking about in this case?
Yeah, in the end.
Because
like,
Girls Planet
we're going to be listening to this like in a couple months when the show is over and be like, oh my God.
Yeah, because I believe
there's going to be 1 C group member in this group. We went through all that.
Right, and I believe Kepler was 5 K group, 2 Japanese, and 1 C, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember the feeling. I remember watching the twins, the one twin, the adorable, our favorite twins from China, the really adorable ones, watching it. And she was so upset, she just turned off the live stream.
Yeah.
And then you saw a longer cut of it later. She just walked off. It just felt
Anshin is going to be shouting, I'm putting my bets on it right now. He's going to be the last one to make it in and the only one from C group. I just have a bad feeling. Let's say this on the subreddit right,
they're literally and I'm not talking 1 or 2 people, like a lot of people are saying, let's bind together and only vote C group.
Yeah.
You don't need to do that. I don't think. Vote for who you want. That's all you can do. But I would say this: if you have a top 8, fill up 4 with your favorites, and the other 4 throw in C group or ones you can feel free to mess with the system a little bit. You got to teach him that lesson, but.
And it's just the way it's broken down. Like last time, with Boys Planet, where it was K group and then G group, and so there was people from all over. Mm-hmm. I think Boys Planet was like the first time it felt like a good mix, a relatively fair result in the end. The only thing that was missing was there were no Japanese contestants, but that's like, it was all G group was like mixed together. And I feel like I just have a bad feeling this time.
It's a very easy fix. This is going to be a 9-person group, 3 from China, 3 from Korea, 3 from somewhere else. Yeah. They won't do that though. So it's kind of. I
just prefer an international group. I think it just gives a little bit of flavor and like something for all of us international fans to like.
Right, I mean, people will use the saying, "Well, this," and I've said this before. This is the Korean show, so they can do what they can.
I'm okay with that.
That's fine. So only sell the album to Korea then, and see how you like it, because you're going to sell to 1.2 billion people in around the world and stuff like that, and especially in China. I don't know if there's a lot of selling. Anyway, the point is that China is an important market, just like Japan. And it's like, and also I wonder if any Japanese members will make it in again.
And they just like, here, the top 8 thus far is like Anshin is in first place. And like, we didn't talk a lot about him, but there's just almost nothing to say because he's just so quiet and he doesn't really, he's just scared.
No, I think he's just quiet, honestly, but he does seem a bit shell-shocked.
So he's just a bit like, he's just kind of there and like.
He was good though. He's a good dancer and singer.
It's not that, he is good, but he's not like. He's not given us a lot to work with as fans, in my opinion.
Well, we should say Mnet is not giving us.
I need a little bit more time with him, maybe to get to know him, because right now it's just not. It's very. Well, it's just not.
Guess what? You'll be getting that later. Just like in Girls Planet and Boys Planet, they'll take their food properly and they'll do a whole segment on it.
So yeah, the current actual top 8 didn't really change much from last week. Notably, though, Sun Hengyu, one of our faves from last week,
up there.
Has made his way into the top 8 off of that really good performance. So that's a really good thing. Happy to see that.
He's charming too, and he was a good all-arounder too. I do wonder if that holds out. But there are older viewers who might prefer older contestants. I mean, that's me. Mm-hmm. My ideal top 8 or group, I should say, I've been thinking about a lot lately. I've always gone for vocals, but I actually think I'd like to see kind of like an AT/ kids, Stray Kids, where it's just bang and rap, and the concerts are like a metal concert, and it's just energy. I saw ATs with you. You saw Stray Kids later by yourself, but ATs, I was just like, holy crap, this is like a death metal. It was so fun. So so I'll be looking out for maybe some of the good rappers as well. So.
Oh, speaking of that, in our top 8, we have the 2 bows. We didn't talk about them a lot, but Bowen, the little bow,
don't say little,
small bow, small bow.
I mean, he's a little guy.
Pocket size bow.
He's just a little guy.
He has both good vocals and good dance, and they did the thing where the All-Stars could watch the signal song dance choreography, and when they first revealed it to them, the other people had to turn around and like not look at it. Again, ridiculous, goofy. Well, anyway, Bowen blew my mind. He watched it for the first time and was dancing along with every single move as he was watching it. What?
But
what is that? That was crazy. I was like, this is crazy. They're not even pointing it out. Like, look at him. He's just like, he picked it up like instant.
Yeah. My brother could figure out songs
on
by,
the first
by
try.
ear. He could
that was crazy.
So some people have it, but what's also interesting is I can't remember what it was, either the Girls Planet or Produce 48 or one of those. I want to say it's Cheon, I can't remember, who watched the dance, and they said she figured it out like that.
Yeah.
And some people have it, but that's a talent.
He's got it.
Well, that's a talent
Whatever
you want in your group, because if you have like someone like him or Yumeki, or somebody who can get it right away, I don't know how fast Yumeki does, but let's say if you have somebody that does that, and you're a group, and they come in and give you, and you need to work fast, he can be like, here it is, guys.
Yeah.
Bam.
And the other bow, the one that performed with
rapper.
With the rapper that performed.
Okay, we do need to talk about
Limjack,
this guy for a second.
He has like a really cool deep voice, and like he got the rap break thing, and like he's like really good. And in his we'll get into that in his signal song performance, he naturally has a very deep voice. He is not going to get those extreme high notes that this song required. So he just didn't try to do that, and they were cool with it.
Okay.
Which was like, where was this grace for everyone else? It's not that he didn't deserve it. He absolutely deserved it. He did the correct thing. He sang it in his range. He did a performance that was like excellent for his skill set and for his who he is as a performer, which is what we want everyone to do. But they were like, oh, isn't that great? But other people was like, you can't sing the high note, you suck.
But here, I think maybe, I was thinking this too. Is it fair? No. But as long as you, just like Drag Race, if you deliver a good performance, a good whatever, if you're in the improv challenge, you make RuPaul laugh, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you sound like the character you're trying to do an impression of.
Yes.
And what, I wasn't even really blown away by the rap singing thing. What I was blown away by was that he was like, yeah, screw it, and did it and sold it. But I think what happens is with the other ones, when they were trying to sing it and they couldn't hit it, they just kind of would stop and whatever. If you're doing that, just go ahead and scream it out, whatever, just show them you're having a good time and that you're loose. If you can't do as good as Bowen there, who was just immaculate, or people like that, just give them something. And so I think his rap thing really showed, this guy's got an idea, this is cool. Maybe that's a new thing.
He needs to get some more eyes on him. He's not in the top 8 yet, meaning his
The
popularity, he's still a little bit underrated. I'm going to need that to change. Shortly.
Yeah.
And I think it probably will once we get into group performances and he gets to like perform a song with a smaller team and be the rapper. He's going to do really good.
And I often say that rapping is easier than singing, and I think it is physically in a lot of ways, but I'm starting to believe more and more.
It's not easier to do well.
No, but I'm just saying that anybody can talk and talk fast. Not everybody can sing well with proper breath control. But where the good rappers are is when they have an original thing. They put their own character on it, because there's a million rappers nowadays. And I think he's got something cool there. He's shown that he's got a willingness to do different things and stuff. And I'm starting to lean more, like I said, to a group that has like a heavy rap group, like 4 really strong rappers, like an ATs or whatever. Isn't ATs the one who has my bias in ATs? He's pretty much the solo singer, right? Now they all can sing.
Yeah.
And if you watch the dude dance, I'm not saying he's a bad dancer at all, but he holds back like the coolest dude in the world. Like he will just, like he's carrying his,
yes,
he's just like a boss, and when he goes, and then he just walks around and he'll do his dance, but they let him do that.
Correct.
Because that's the character in the superhero group. He is the vocal master.
Correct.
And so that's what you got to give them. They're trying to create something that sells cards and albums, and you got to give them a character. So speaking of characters, Honghai Dang. I can't remember how you pronounce it.
Honghai.
No, Honghai. I love that guy, man. I'm glad to see him do really well. I don't know how far he'll make it, honestly, because he was in Boys Planet.
I feel like if you're not already like on the up and up with like the fan popularity here, it's gonna be a difficult to make it up. But we'll see once the performances start.
Somebody could scout him, or he could do a solo, or just.
Why isn't Honghai in X-Love? Answer me that.
Good question.
With Umeki and the other Boys Planet
Which, by the way, is a really interesting group. I was like, what the hell?
With their concept, their genderless concept group. Why isn't Honghai part of X-Love?
Maybe he'll join. Hey, remember after Girls Planet, what's her name? I'm sorry, what's her name? I don't mean to be disrespectful. Join Billy. So there is,
Shin. Sean?
Yeah. He might go into an existing group. You never know. Who's down there in the bottom left?
The Boy Story member and
the
Anshin and his partner. I still think they did well, and I don't really have 8 favorites, so I put them at the top. And then this Shun Yu is the Taekwondo athlete that stayed. So
fantastic.
That's my current top 8.
I think it's good top 8, but it will change a lot.
Yeah, super looking forward to next week and finally just like the groups meet each other. They're going to start picking teams. We're going to do songs, and the show will actually begin. I feel like we almost need to just like wipe this whole first 4 episodes out of our mind.
Take a hot shower, chill out.
I slept on it last night, so I'm not as upset today as I was yesterday.
Dude, I stayed up thinking of that court case thing. And I didn't even do it right. I screwed it up. That drove me nuts.
I didn't know you were doing.
Well, I compose in my head and then I write notes. Nonsense. But I actually am. And I said this, I think, during Boys Planet last time. You were like in the doldrums about something, and I was like, I'm having a good time. You're like, oh. And then, so I'm sorry about Limjack, but I actually think there's some really, really fun personalities in this. I think once they get past all the crying and stuff, And they'll start making friendships, and we'll start seeing that fun stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We saw little tiny clips of it at the end of the K group episode, and then they basically confirmed that this is the last of the C group episodes.
The merging.
Because there was no next week on, because there's not a next week. the vocal master came in and was brought them gifts and was like, yeah, isn't it real sad? Everyone's gone, and they were like, yeah.
He is just so eloquent. I like the guy. I think he's cool and stuff like that. But,
no, I just thought they gave him the worst job. They're like, okay, go comfort all these kids after we just send over half of them packing.
Yeah.
Oh, anyway, ridiculous.
I'm enjoying it. And, leave good comments. I appreciate all the comments, especially a Wikipedia person who gave us all this information.
Yes, thank you.
And left a cool little quote kind of about, kind of the idol culture and stuff like that. So I love that stuff. It really is kind of keeps you centered on the truth about how this goes.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So again, thank you so much for listening. Please subscribe if you haven't. We're trying to get to 1,000 on this channel. We'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening. The fact that anybody listens to us just go on and
no, man,
and enjoys it is
geniuses.
Is so cool. This is just a hobby. I'm not trying. This isn't high quality professional podcasting. This is just for fun. So thank you for joining us for fun.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week with fresh eyes and open hearts.
A Limjack tattoo.
Justice for Jack. Okay.
Have a good one. Bye.